Valor points. Valor points in Mythic Plus Dungeons. It is 135 Valor points, regardless of the difficulty of the dungeon that you do. Instantly feels odd. Now,
it does.
I have already recorded the pre-recorded WoW news that goes up tomorrow. Are we cannibalizing our own content? Who knows? Yes, probably.
We'll find out.
But in going through that and really sitting down trying to puzzle out this system, I think I know why Blizzard made most of the decisions that they made, and I actually agree with almost all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure you told me about like where you were where you thought they were coming from in this regard.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll let you explain it in a second, but it's like it's technically correct, but the way we are shown the package feels a bit odd.
Yeah. Because as a player, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to get a currency for doing a thing. If I do the harder version of it, obviously I'll get more currency. That's intuitive. Doesn't apply to anima, funny enough. But that is what you naturally think. I do the harder thing so I get more stuff. Now you do, because you get more gear. Or not more gear, you get higher item level gear. And you have to remember that, if you're talking about a two-handed weapon, every 3 item levels on that two-handed weapon that drops may as well be 1,000 Valor points. So you're always going to want to target a Mythic plus 15 for the fastest gearing because of all those Valor points. Now, there's another thing. If we're just to say, oh, just grind Mists of Tyr Scythe plus 2s forever, the game's awful, it's now just like Maw 3 chest runs forever. It's actually not like that, because this is a seasonal capped currency. So if you were doing that, and you're running your Mythic plus 2 Tyr Scythe, and you've got like an item level 196 two-hander that you want to bring up to eye level 220 with your Valor points, are you sure you want to do that? Because that would cost you like, what, 6,000 to 8,000 Valor points? You can earn, assuming like a 22-week season and 750 VP a week, you can earn like, 16,000 VP, right? 16,000 VP in the entire season. Are you seriously going to want to spend more than a third of your entire VP on just that one thing because you've thought the best thing to do is to grind out plus 2s instead of do what Blizzard clearly intends for you to do, which is to target the hardest content that you can do? And the other side of that is, well, the Great Vault. In fact, oh wow, actually this is a realization that may have hit me. Good. What if Blizzard held back eye level 226 in the Great Vault? What if they did that with the intent that players would always want to get 10 Mythic plus 15 runs to get, or whatever the highest end of run drop, or whatever the highest weekly box level is, because they thought if you could get 226 via the upgrade system, then that would leave there being less of an incentive to do the hardest possible content that you could. So there's that. There's then also the fact that, you'll always want to do at least 10 M plus dungeons. If you're a big M plus player anyway, at the highest that you can to get your 3 options of Great Vault. Now there's another thing. The other thing is, this system is right now 5,750 VP that you can get. But that's because that's increasing by 750 a week from the start of Season 1 of Shadowlands. Now that means that this system is basically balanced with a weekly acquisition of 750 in mind. That is 4.5? Wait, no. What am I talking about? So 750 divided by 135, 5.5. That's doing 5.5 Mythic Plus dungeons. Now, if you want to get 2 options in your chest, you're doing 4 dungeons. That's most of your VP cap. So, right now, this is all a little bit maybe feeling odd to players based on, but I'm doing the harder content, I'd expect to get more points. But it actually all, I think, does level out, makes sense. Once you explain it, just that that's not exactly intuitive immediately, and that's why there's mixed reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I think the entire problem that people had with the system is just so, I don't want to say super easily fixed, but is entirely a framing thing. If they had dropped that to like 100, and then said you get an extra 5, or maybe not 10, 'cause that would be insane, but like an extra 5 or an extra, drop it to 50, an extra 10 per level, then people went, okay, we understand, we get it. I think that would have been, because the cap is so, like that's actually a lot compared to the cap. I'm genuinely surprised that 5.5 dungeons is what you need to do per week to cap. Yeah. Because especially when you're doing like a +2, that's no time whatsoever to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be once a day. That's 7 dungeons a week.
Yeah, I mean, that's significantly better. So I think if they dropped the number and just added extra per key, even just a little bit, it would have at least made sense. And I think that's where most of the problem is. The system is at least relatively balanced this way, and they could have solved this without throwing off the balance, I think. But I think it is a case where if they had a blue post for this, that wouldn't have been a problem. If they'd explained exactly what they were thinking here.
Exactly,
I think.
Brett Murr just said there is no cap. No, there is a cap. It increases by 750 per week. There was originally intended to be a cap of 1,500 on your character at once that they have since scrapped. But no, it is 750 a week. It's just that right now we are week 5,750 divided by 750 of Shadowlands. So we're week 7 or whatever. That's why the cap is big right now. That is the cap. It's just, yeah, that's how it's going to increase over time. That said, there are some odd things with this system. You can absolutely make a big mistake. I mean, there are some players who are going to think to themselves, well, I just got this new drop. Is it BIS? No. But I need more performance out of my character to try to push the content that I want to push. So I'm going to upgrade this bit of gear. Wrong. If you upgrade a piece of gear that is not a part of your BIS set, and then you replace that bit of gear, well, the bit of gear you upgraded is now no longer in your character, but you've just eaten up however many Valor points out of your seasonal cap. Because your seasonal cap, as I said, say assuming a 22-week-long season, 750 a week, it's like 16,000 or something.
16,500.
Yeah. So that is another odd little thing about this system, I suppose. And it's one that doesn't appear with the Conquest system, because in Conquest, upgrades are, of course, capped by your rating. And honor is just you can just get honor till the cows come home. The only thing that's capped is the acquisition of gear that you specifically choose. So, interesting similarities and differences between the two.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty handy way to. This is like it just came to me while you were talking there. I think I envision a solve for that specific problem, because that feels really unintuitive in a way that I think will really, really like ruin some players. And I'd thought of it in the way of, oh yeah, I mean, just wait for your BIS. Obviously, the solution's easy. If you understand that, you're fine. But if you're waiting on your BIS for so long, then you do need a way to temporarily gear up a bit faster, especially if you're hitting Valor cap. It's it's just going to feel terrible that you're setting a cap and can't use it for anything. Even though it doesn't materially matter, it's still going to feel bad. So yeah. I think the actual solve there is probably to add a dismantle system.
I actually agree. And I think I agree because it's really good when something in a game feels like a toy. And it feels like you can tinker, you just want to be Garrus in the back doing his calibrations, right? Sometimes. So if oh yeah, I've went, 6,000 VP into the seasonal cap, and I put in a bunch of gear, and then you get your BIS, and you're like, oh cool, I'll strip the upgrades off that bit of gear and slap them in this bit of gear. And what that basically means is you've just got this pool of VP that you can use to like redistribute item levels in your gear. And then suddenly that's I can already see the downside though, but suddenly that's then a system where a player actually has got this resource to play with throughout a season. They get more of that resource, and I think that actually means that as they go through the season, they feel like they're getting more options. So that is kind of neat. Although that said, of course, whenever you think about these game design things, you instantly go into problem solving mode. So then, what if, Jimmy wants his inscrutable quantum device, He's got 6,000 VP in his character, and he just thinks, okay, I went on a Simcraft and or raid bots, and I've worked out that this trinket is what I need at as high an item level as I can. Therefore, what I'm going to do is run a whole bunch of +2s until I get that trinket drop, and I'm going to redistribute all my item levels onto that right now for the maximum gain right now. You could also think, what if, that allows people to actively rebalance the VP of their character absolutely perfectly at every single step? Oh dear, will people be simming 7,000 times a day? Whenever raid bots goes public, will it have a higher valuation than Roblox? Who knows? So you can see issues with the system like that. Though, to be honest with you, put the power in the player's hands. If they want to be stupid with it, then fair enough, let them be stupid. Personally, I would rather engage with the system like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those problems are, I think, solvable by just little bits of tweaks here and there. I think just little things. I mean, obviously, this is literally, they've thrown Valor in. They've done a loose copy of PvP adjusted for PvE. It's in a 0.05 patch. Hopefully, there'll be something like this in future, because I can't imagine they're blind to all of these problems that us as effectively armchair devs for World of Warcraft have figured out. I'm sure they've got that stuff on the radar.
We know the Blizzard are pretty damn good at thinking about problems first almost all the time.
Yes.
Almost to the point where they will let the solution to a problem, almost do more damage than it's worth. Yeah. But that's a different topic for a different time.
For sure.
And I think that's mostly us wrapped up in the Valor point thing. What it basically means is your gameplay is not going to change. You're going to want to get your options from the vault. You'll get some VP along the way, and you can use it. That's your TLDR. You don't really need to get more stuck into it or anything like that. And I think the real thing to do is, as you said, they're aware of the issues that could crop up. Patch 9.1 is going to be a fresh season, and I imagine this system will be tweaked to hell and reset for that.